Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Shauna. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. Hope all is well. Tonight's topic is about the distinction between divination and astrology and astronomy. There is this heavy emphasis placed on astrology and astronomy being a part of the same thing as witchcraft, voodoo, hoodoo. No, okay, that's not the case. What happened was, and we discussed this a few segments ago, and over the course of a few segments, right? We've discussed this, how the scholars back then studied all of these things, right? In fact, primitive astrology, where practices of stargazing or sighting, it represents one of the earliest statistical projections for sophisticated calculations and sets of data. So what that means is before religion, before books, a lot of books were written, before certain cultures had different customs set in place, stargazing and astrology and astronomy, because astrology is a part of stargazing, right? Where you monitor and track the motion and the behavior of, what we can see. And of course, I don't know, but back then, I'm assuming they didn't have the instruments that we have now, to monitor what's going on with the celestial bodies, right? Now, there's a difference between witchcraft, magic, and divination, okay? Witchcraft is the practice of magic, especially for evil purposes, right? Like doing spells and things like that, okay? Even though there are spells that are not bad, anything where you are manipulating the will, and the will is not just the will of someone else, your own will. You are manipulating the energies and manifesting things that is not a part of your will. It's not good, okay? Magic is the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. Slightly similar, but slightly different from witchcraft. Because with magic, you wouldn't be using relics, right? And when I say relics, I mean things that are used to manifest, to aid in manifesting different types of witchcraft, right? And witchcraft would be like hoodoo, voodoo, Santa Maria, scrying. Okay, scrying is like where you use images or objects that can give you a reflection, right? And it's used to foretell the future. So like crystal balls or mirror magic or hydromancy, things of that nature, right? Or hydromancy is water, using water, right? And we see that in a lot of the cartoons, right? Where the evil witch would go to the water or the mirror and she would see this reflection of herself where she appears to be beautiful, but in fact she's ugly and she's evil, right? Same concept. Totally different. Divination is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or unknown by by supernatural means. Okay? Now, All of these things differ from one another. And even if you think about it by definition, astrology and astronomy is a science. It's still not divination. If anything, religion would be divination. You understand? That would be something totally different, because what's the definition? The practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means. So what would that be? Fasting, praying, reading, scribing, connecting with spirits, connecting with the spiritual world, building a relationship with the Most High. Right? These are all different things, and I won't go into how and when and all of that, because that's not what this segment is about. But at some point, religion for a lot of cultures was intertwined with astrology and astronomy. It was a science, and even in certain time periods, medicine was actually considered magic. Right? So depending on who you ask, where you ask them, and when you ask them, you're going to get a different response. Now, astrology and astronomy should be viewed from cultural, spiritual, religious, political, philosophical viewpoints. Because, like I just said, obviously, geographic locations will determine what one is able to cite or view, or how they even perceive or understand it, because it's a part of certain cultures, like Hinduism or the Indian culture or the Chinese culture. Right? It's a part of the culture. It's not considered a religion. It's considered knowledge that's been passed down, that's used to navigate people from that region through life and to assist. Okay? And this is all with intention. We have to remember that, when you do things like set up altars, okay, there's different intentions behind those altars. So if you ask someone who doesn't practice evil things and they set up altars for their ancestors, they're going to give you a different meaning and reasoning for the altar. Whereas the person that's setting up an altar to bring people harm, right? And they're going to have different reasons, obviously. But we have to also look at what's the origin of the behavior. Where is this coming from? Because even back then, Christianity as well as Islam had practiced astrology and astronomy. In fact, it's still prevalent today, because the sighting of the moon predicts the month of Ramadan. Okay? So, again, we talked about this yesterday, and in a few other segments, just the overall importance of doing research and just using common knowledge and reading for yourself, not taking other people's words for things, experiencing things for yourself, learning for yourself, applying said knowledge to your own journey and seeing how it works for you. Right? Because we all have different purposes, we all have different walks, we all have different perceptions and experiences. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. Right? There's even religions that have no distinct God. Right? There's no name. It's called pantheism. the name of the religious group that believes in the universe and its idea of God. This religion believes that God is all around us in all that we do. Okay? So again, everyone has their own understanding of things, but let's just try to have an open mind and really do our own research so we could broaden our understanding and be able to have better conversations and possibly open ourselves up to new opportunities, new mindsets, etc., right? Now, remember, when we originally started to discuss astrology and astronomy, we had, basically went into the difference, and we went into how we were going to start discussing birth charts, right? And I had basically been saying over the course of the segments that we would be phasing in and out with this, right? But I just wanted to make sure, for anyone who was concerned or under the assumption that I'm practicing something that is not of the Most High, I just wanted to make sure we had that understanding. Again, you can do your own research, okay? You can do your own research before assuming that what we're discussing has something to do with this spiritual world in a negative way, okay? Because a lot of people like to call people witches and things like that, but research and monitoring activity of the stars and the cosmos is of God. It's another way to get to know the Creator. This is something else that was not created by man that we can learn about. I don't see how that's evil unless we're using those things to bring harm, right? Like lighting candles and, altars. Again, the intention behind it. I don't do those things, but again, to each his own. Because people who have dreams and visions or are highly empathetic or sensitive, that's not something that man can create, right? Where does that come from? That was placed inside of you. So who did that? We cannot say that that is witchcraft. Being a psychic can not mean that you're a witch. How? Being a prophet or a messiah cannot absolutely mean that you are a demon, because you have spiritual gifts. People use the Bible to cast spells on people in a negative way, right? So we have to be very careful with the things that we believe and the things we assume we understand, because sometimes we can be wrong. So we have to unlearn the things that we've learned growing up, and we have to re-educate ourselves to things that are more likely to be true, and to things that definitely make more sense than the things that we've always believed all along. And I myself, I had to unlearn a lot because I was under a lot of assumptions, but through my journey, I learned a lot of things, and they went against what I was taught, but they always coincided with what I believed in, what I always thought, even as a young girl. But the things that we learned growing up is just to condition us to fit in the society that we're living in. So sometimes that has nothing to do with your journey. I mean, it has everything to do with it, but sometimes they conflict, right? They are on opposing ends. And life is all about balance, right? So you have to understand that, celestial phenomenon and interpreting those things and relating it to prophetic significance has always been closely related to science. And what our ancestors did, and those ancestors did, and the ancestors of those people, this is built upon mathematical calculations. That is the language of the universe. So, yeah. Let's just try to be a little more open-minded, okay? But I love you guys. I'm going to end it here. I hope your day was good. I hope all is well. I hope you're going to eat something good tonight. I hope you get some rest, drink some water, eat some fruits and vegetables, and sip your tea because it's free. Love y'all. Peace.